All forms of competitive TF2 are a game of push and pull strategy. Regardless of map type, teams use a variety of situational advantages, primarily player advantage and Uber advantage, to gain ground on the enemy team. Competitive TF2, especially competitive 6v6, is fairly simple in terms of strategy. You utilize those primary two advantages, as well as a few others, to capture points. Pushing off of a player advantage is pretty simple. If you have a larger number of players than the other team, you can push into them. If you have fewer players than the other team, you know that you will likely get pushed into, so you adjust your play accordingly. With teams only having 6 players, everyone's life at most times is important. That's not to say you can't die in-game. You do have to be intentional about the risk-reward associated with dying, though. Uber charge advantage is a little more nuanced relative to player advantage, but it's also fairly simple at its core. Each team has one medic, and the medics will constantly be thinking about getting their Uber charge while they are thinking about where the other team's Uber charge is. If both medics die but one respawns 15 seconds before the other, the team with the living medic has a 15-second Uber charge advantage. If that medic plays their cards right, they can Uber into the enemy team, killing the other medic and getting an even bigger Uber charge advantage and player advantage for the next push. That said, the enemy team is aware of this situation, so they will play strategically to force your medic's Uber early and get their medic to safety. This is called leapfrogging, and it creates the base structure of what is utilized in competitive play. These two mechanics sound remarkably simple, but when you combine the two of them, that adds another layer of depth. The same is true of the smaller advantages and disadvantages mentioned earlier. For example, if you have 6 players alive and the other team has 5 players alive, but all of your players have 20 health and the other team's players are all full health, the one player advantage is completely trounced by your health advantage if played well by the healthy team. Other advantages include spawn advantage, which you know by knowing the spawn rates on different maps, the high ground advantage, who is standing above you, the clip advantage even, which is how, did a soldier just fire 4 rockets at you, and tons more advantages. At its core, strategy in TF2 is all about the risk versus reward of exchanging your advantages for bigger ones. The basic strategies simply give you a chance to take good fights that you hopefully have a high chance of winning based on your aim and movement versus your opponents. To get a bit more specific with strategies, you have to dive in, but before you do that, you can watch the last video of this 3-video series about CP process, which will get you some practical application of the concepts that were gone over in this video.